guys, and welcome back to my nail repair channel. Today we have a fixer-upper. Oh my! Here's our fixer-upper hand that we gotta fix today. But welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's get right into this video. So today we have here Sister Spice.
Hi everyone!
Here is Sister Spice's cracked and crusty nails. Yeah, what happened to this one?
My nail got ripped off. I was doing laundry, and in the laundry machine, there's like a ridge, sort of, and I was picking up the clothes. My nail got stuck in the ridge, like this, right? And when I was like lifting it up, and it just ripped off my nail. And yeah, now I have Mrs. Nubs.
And also, look at this hand. What happened? Y'all know what this nail set looked like. Why does it look like this now? We're guessing it's the matte top coat we used because the whole nail is like turning yellow. It's not just the nude part or something like that. But we're not working on her today. So let's just get right into taking the rest of these nails off. Okay, so to remove these nails, we're gonna first start off by clipping them off. Say goodbye. Okay, next we're going to be taking this nail drill. So I'm going to file down the nails. I'm just going to try and make them as thin as possible. So I have the nails filed down as much as I could, and honestly they filed down really well. I honestly don't think I need to even soak it in acetone. I'm just gonna file it with a hand file to get any of that last bit off. Next, I'm going to start off with the actual nail prep. So we're just going to be pushing back the cuticles. Okay, next we're gonna be using this round cuticle drill bit, and I'm just gonna work this around the cuticle area. Next, I'm going to take my cuticle scissors and I'm going to trim off the excess dead skin. Alright, next I'm going to take my fine grit sanding band and I'm just going to file over the surface of the nail and also work this around the cuticle area. Now I'm going to take my nail clippers and I'm just going to trim down any excess nail growth. Okay, now I'm going to take my NotPolish nail tips and we're going to get sizing these out. Okay, so I sized out all the nail tips. Now I'm going to glue them on using some KDS glue. Nail tips are glued on. Now we're going to get reshaping these. I'm not going to trim them down. Next, I'm going to take my e-file and I'm just going to remove the shine from the nail tips. Okay, so I got all the nail tips done and now I'm going to be adding on some Dehydrator. And next we're going to add on some primer. Next we're going to be adding on some base coat. Okay, now we're going to get into the polygel application. We're first going to be starting off with a French tip. So I'm going to be taking this Nude Polygel and I'm going to put a bead of this near the cuticle area. We're going to make this a deep French tip. I'm just going to pat the polygel down towards the cuticle area while also keeping the polygel closer to the center. And then I'm just going to drag this up into that really skinny oval shape.
Hi guys, it's me, Spice, and I have a Reddit story for us. This one is a slight stalker story, but nothing too uncomfortably creepy. The story begins, a few years ago, my anxiety was high. I was already at a point in my life where I thought I was a little out of it. But that was amplified by a lot when I kept repeatedly hearing noises outside my window, like every single night. It just wouldn't stop. I would finally get so freaked out I'd go wake up my parents and get them to look outside, but they never found anything. I started to think I was crazy or just subconsciously seeking attention. One morning, my grandfather discovered one of our lawn chairs beneath our bathroom window. It was pretty high up and the bathroom pane is fogged, so I'm not sure the chair even helped, but it was left there regardless. Do you get it?
No.
The window is like, you know, in the bathroom. You know, like how there's like windows near in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little higher up because obviously,
so he's saying there's a chair.
Uh-huh.
Like if someone stood on it, it'd be the height as a window.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The next night, I heard sounds again. Nothing, though. The night after, however, we checked outside and discovered something that made my stomach churn. A small stepladder was sitting directly outside of my window, backed just enough to allow someone to sit on it but still see. On my windowsill was a bag of now cold McDonald's, which is just up the street from me. Most of the food was still in there, but still, some crazy person had been watching me doing absolutely nothing of interest in my room without me knowing, for I don't know how long. The cops were called. Nothing happened. I felt crazier than ever. No one was to be found, but at the least we had some evidence that someone that shouldn't be hovering around our house was at my window watching intently through the blinds in a space between the two curtains. I heard noises the next night. Ran outside. Nothing. Earlier in the night, I sewn my curtains together, which hopefully made it harder to see. Apparently it did, because now that crazy person had taken to climb on top of our air conditioning unit, and from there climbing onto our garbage can, then standing on that so he could see above where the drapes went. The window was bigger and they had the drapes a bit lower so he could see from the top part of the window.
Next, we're going to be taking some red polygel. And I'm going to be putting this at the tip of the nail. This red is so pretty. I just recently used this red, but it's just the perfect red. I didn't shape it. It's fine.
The handprints and shoe prints were left on the lid to prove it. I should also mention that there were now holes in my window screen, and I heard these holes being created. He took a stick and sharpened it somehow. We found it outside my window and was trying to stealthily break away the screen bit by bit. The next night, I distinctly heard the gravel near my window crunch. There was simply no mistaking that sound. As stealthily as I could, I let out a small moan he surely heard and rolled just out of view, as if I were sleeping. Then pressed myself against a wall out of view of the window, very quietly opened my door and crept down the hall. My heart was pounding. Normally I knock on my parents' door, but I knew the slightest of sound would make that guy bolt. So I quietly opened their door and sneaked in, then informed them that there was, without a single doubt, someone outside my window. They didn't mind the intrusion and got up, got dressed, formulated a plan, and crept to the back door. I ran to the bathroom to stand on the edge of our tub and peek out the window just as the back door was thrown open and my parents ran outside like morons. And sure enough, they saw him. They started screaming as the man leaped off the trash can and bolted down our driveway. They screamed all sorts of horrible things at the top of their lungs. "You sick mother trucker! I'm gonna kill you!" from my dad. "You're a freak!" from my mom. You know what they should have done? Let him pretend, because he didn't know that, like, she got up and out of her room, right?
Yeah.
They should have called the cops.
Yeah.
And he would have still been there. You know, like, you know, don't turn on your sirens or lights. And he would have still been there thinking that.
Yep.
that no one's seen him yet. He ended up escaping across the street, hiding behind a house adjacent to us. The nerves on that guy. He kept peeking out at us as we stood outside. Can you imagine seeing him just peek? But we wanted to leave him there so the cops could finally nab him. They were called, they came, and they searched, but never found him. He must have hopped over a fence or something. Still to this day, I hear sounds outside my window, even in the dead winter, but he's never out there. He might have just been a peeper, but he targeted me specifically, and for months, until he was almost caught. What really gets me angry is that once he lost interest in me because it was too unsafe, he moved onto a house down the street with 2 little girls.
Oh, wow.
He actually managed to get in through their window, and their dad caught him just standing in the middle of the room watching them sleep. I still don't think he was caught even at that. All I know is that it could have been way worse, but it really messed me up. I trust the men in my neighborhood even less now. The men around here stare very blatantly. I've been chased down by one. I've had a guy try to lure me into his car when I was passing him, telling him no, I didn't need a ride and to leave me alone. All these years later, I still hear crazy stuff outside my window and it freaks me out. I turn out my lights entirely to exercise. I do my best to avoid the windows when I undress. It just scarred me, even though it wasn't a huge deal. And that concludes that story. What I said, I really think they should have just left him there and called the cops secretly. I don't think they should have ran outside to chase him, because
now they couldn't get him.
Now they couldn't, yeah, exactly. And you don't know if he had a weapon or not, or anything crazy that night. You never know. That could have been his 13th reason.
Sometimes police don't really do much about stalker stories. Like all the true crime cases I've listened to where they know they had a stalker and the police wouldn't do anything for them. And then until it was too late. So here's the nail done. Really pretty. We're going to add some glitter over this. So I'm just going to cure this first layer. Okay, so as you can see, I have a lot of this nude part compared to the red. So I'm going to add some glitter on there. I'm going to add some of these glitter hearts. And also I'm going to be using this Saviland glittery polygel. It's a little bit messy because it's kind of old. This is how it looks. It's incredibly sparkly and pretty. I'm basically going to put some of this on the nail. Unfortunately, this isn't a nice polygel. This is kind of the really sticky one. So you have to use a lot of slip solution for this. But before I fully smooth it out, I'm gonna stick in my heart glitters. And now I'm going to try my best to stick these glitters down into this polygel. That way I won't have to encapsulate and I can just use this glitter polygel as the encapsulating. So here's what the first nail looks like. It is so pretty. That glitter is so good. Next nail is going to be a full red nail. So I'm just gonna get a lot of this polygel on here.
Okay, so this next story is from the subreddit Confessions. The story is titled, "Cops pulled me over and I called 911 and lied to get out of going to jail." A little dramatic. When I was 19, I was running late to work in my tiny POS economic car. And on fumes of gas, I didn't come to a complete stop at a right turn. Lights behind me, so I pulled over. Cop lights. I know I've barely got any gas at all and was almost to the gas station, hence why I rolled through the stop a little, trying not to have the car die. You know what I mean? Because you stop and then you go and then it takes gas because you have to press the gas. At that time, around 1995, a new digital phone had come out called VoiceStem, now T-Mobile. And their whole thing was that the phones were digital and not cellular. They were the first phones with caller ID, and one of the big things the salesman had said over and over, since it was digital, the signal couldn't be triangulated or traced. Not that I cared, but it stuck in my mind. As I give the cop my license, registration, and insurance card, I got an idea. I knew if I was late to work, I was going to lose my job. They're super strict there. So I got an idea, and right after I handed the papers to the cop and he starts walking back to the cruiser, I call 911 and tell the operator I just saw a guy with what looks like a shotgun walk into a 7-Eleven that was about 2 blocks away. I confirmed the address, then hung up. About 30 seconds later, the cop comes sprinting to my car and hands me all my stuff and rushes, says, "Come to a complete stop next time," then peels off to the direction of the store, pushing my car to the gas station that I almost made it to, and felt pretty pleased with my ingenuity. I was an idiot and I confessed. He added to his story. He said, "I forgot to mention, I would have gotten arrested, booked, and released because I was driving with a suspended license for unpaid traffic tickets, and I had a bench warrant for it because I'm an idiot. So it wouldn't have been just a few minutes late to work. The job was a physical, high turnover one that didn't tolerate much."
Next, I'm going to continue with this glitter polygel.
This story is also on the confession subreddit. It's like one of the replies to the story I just read. It starts, "I was in my brother's old GTR when he decides to drift it around a corner." Drift it! As we entered the drift and began going around the corner, we see a cop car pull up just around the bend that had somebody stopped. With the cop being by their window with papers in hand, I watched as the cop and the guy in the car watched us drift around the corner. Shock on all of our faces. The cop then literally throws the papers back at the guy in the car and almost falls over as he sprints back to his car. My brother just floors it as soon as we're straight. We outran the cop and ducked in behind a supermarket down the road. A few minutes later, we hear the sirens speed off down the road we were on. Pretty sure the cop didn't have a chance to catch the registration as my brother was never caught. So literally they drifted around the corner, and as they're halfway around the corner, they see the cop and the guy he pulled over. The cop said, "Yeah, that's a bigger fish to fry." And as soon as they're done drifting, he just sends it somewhere to hide. That's literally what my first thought would be. I'm like, I gotta find somewhere to hide.
All right, and now I'm going to add in the hearts. This time I'm going to be using some of these iridescent hearts.
I have a 2-sentence horror story.
Is that all that's left?
No, I have another one, but it's a 2-sentence horror story break.
Okay.
You know I love my 2-sentence horror stories. This one's good. ... She said last time. ... She said last time. We're stuck in a time loop. Which really pisses me off because that's what she said last time. We're stuck in a time loop. Which really pisses me off because that's what...
That's the story, huh?
Yeah, that's the story. Because, see, it's 2 sentences, but it's a loop. It's like a loop sentence. Because, you know, it starts with ... and it ends with ... And it could fit perfectly of, that's what she said last time, you know what I mean? And you could also start, she said last time. Oh, this one was so good.
All right, now I'm going to shove these glitters down into this glitter so that I can encapsulate them in this glitter polygel. Next nail is going to be a full nude nail.
This next story is in the subreddit Scary Stories. The title is Emergency Alert! Do not look outside your windows. Emergency alert. Warning, this is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. Citizens of the world. Lock all doors. Close all of your blinds. Do not go near any windows. Do not look outside. Do not leave your house. Stay in a room with no windows. Gather what supplies you can. Turn off all the lights and do not open the door for anything. Well, I first heard it didn't even sound real. It sounded fake, like something in a horror movie, but it was definitely an emergency, so I decided to do what it told me, and I grabbed a flashlight, pillow, my phone, charger, food, and basic other stuff to keep me entertained while this stuff was happening. I had no idea what was going on, but once I got into my bathroom and got comfy, I texted my parents, asking them if they got the alert. They also did. They said citizens of the world. Did they actually broadcast that to the whole entire world? Like, that's massive, you know? I asked myself. So I texted an internet friend that lives across the world, and they said they got the same exact message. And to be honest, it was kind of scary. They tell you what to do, but not what's going on. And people are scared. 20 minutes later, emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. Unknown creatures have been knocking on people's doors and been killing people that open the doors. There is 5 major hotspots: Washington, D.C., Tokyo, Toronto, Moscow, and London. They have been located all around, but it seems as if they are attacking those first. This is an invasion. Stay in your rooms. Do not open any doors. Do not look outside. They can kill you instantly with just a look. May God help us all. Emergency nuke sirens are going off. Tornado sirens are going off. What is going on? Is this a prank? How can an invasion be real? Are aliens real? How can I even comprehend that? I heard car alarms going off. I heard things being destroyed. They are here. They are killing. It sounds like a war zone out there, but without any guns. What can the government do? Just shoot them? But they would die looking at them. There's no possible way we could even survive this. We are going to die. I text my parents, but there's no answer. I text my brother and sister, no answer. I start to panic now. What if my family is gone, and all I can do is listen to other people's families and get murdered? The nuke sirens have started again, and they are very loud. Shaking my whole apartment, I wonder what the other people in the building are thinking. Probably like me. This is it. This is the end of the world. Everyone on this planet will die. I hear a knock at my door. I don't answer it. I hear someone screaming for me to open it. I mean, it sounded human. Should I go and open it? No, that would be stupid. Emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The extraterrestrials are attacking every major city in the world. There is a lot of them. We have not found out what they want. Stay inside. Millions, if not billions, are dead. Stay inside. It's as if the government has given up now. There's no way to fight. And these messages are less helpful each time they come on. If billions are dying, then I don't know how we can survive this. I mean, I have so far, but it doesn't sound like for long. I hear buildings being destroyed. I hear cars being destroyed. My building has been hit a few times. I'm hearing my world crumble before me. At this point, there's no reason to hope anymore. There's so many dying and there's so much chaos. They will get everyone. I would love to know what one of these things look like, but if I see them, I die. I hope someone takes a picture, and if we do survive, I want to see it. I want to see what's killing us. But the end is nowhere near, and I don't even know how many people we have left. Should I just end myself? Maybe I should just die before they get me. I don't know. I don't want to die, but those things, plus what if I do survive and get survivor's guilt? There's no way Emergency alert. This is not a test. The extraterrestrials have left and left billions of people dead. If you are alive, please tap the button on your phone now. If on a radio, tune to 104 and state your name and city. We will update you in 20 minutes. There's no way I would want to live. That's what I was going to say. And yet somehow I'm actually alive. Do I want to die now? Well, no. But how many people are alive? What did these things want? Why did they attack us? There's too many questions to even ask right now. At this point, all we can do is try to figure out some numbers and restart society. How can a world like ours recover from something like this? How long until society is normal again? Will humanity ever be the same? I don't know. What I do know is that I could have lost everything. I'll text my friends and family and come back with some numbers. Emergency alert. This is not a test. We have reported a little over 1 billion people accounted for. Not every country has the technology, so we will be investigating the countries in the coming month. We do not understand what these creatures wanted, nor what they have taken. In the next month or two, we will be figuring out the next steps for humanity. May God help us all. Only 3 people I know survived. My sister, my uncle, and my best friend. Everyone else is dead. I want to end myself, but at the same time, humanity needs me. We need each other to continue human life. Only time will tell what to do next, if there is anything. Update. It's 2 weeks later. The guilt is too much. I'm too much of a coward. Goodbye, world.
Oh, wow. It just ends?
Yeah.
I bet that knock on the door was that thing. Whatever's killing them. On the next nail, I'm going to be taking some base coat. I'm going to add a nice layer of base coat on the nail. This is what we're going to use to stick in all of our glitter because this is going to be a clear nail. All right, so I'm just going to jam pack this with a bunch of glitters.
So my next story is from the subreddit Stalker Stories. The title, Potential Kidnapping. I was at the local grocery store I visit weekly to shop for food. I normally spend $100 to $200 a week on food for myself and my family, so I always leave with a full cart. I'm standing in the checkout line minding my business when a tall man, I guess early 40s, approaches me and compliments my hair. Your hair is gorgeous, loud enough for everyone within a 20-foot radius to hear. Now, I appreciate a compliment as much as the next girl, but it was a little obnoxious, to say the least. I thanked him politely and redirected my attention to my cart, where I awkwardly started organizing the items, in hopes that the 15 pairs of eyes now staring in my direction would look elsewhere. Unfortunately, Loudmouth McGee didn't take a hint. He started asking rapid-fire questions and statements, barely pausing for me to get a word in before the next sentence would spill out of his mouth. This is when it really gets awkward. As if it wasn't weird enough. He asked if I want to go out with him or something, maybe tonight after I put my groceries away. He could come to my house and help me put my groceries away, then we could leave from there. That's what he wanted. I told him I didn't think my husband would appreciate that, and he got angry. I was freaked out. At this point, everyone was still staring. After I rejected his offer, his mood changed so fast it was like a light switch got flipped and the compliments turned into nasty insults and curses. Mind you, this guy didn't have a cart or anything in his hands to buy. He was kind of just standing off to the side, kind of leaning on one of the drink refrigerator displays. Creepy. Thankfully, a gentleman who was in an aisle within my sight, who presumably heard the whole thing, came up behind us and asked him if he was in line. Loudmouth McGee said no. Gentleman properly told him he was being inappropriate, loud, and needed to buzz off. To my surprise, Loudmouth McGee stepped aside and with one final insult and stomped out of the store. I thanked the gentleman and we continued waiting in line. Me with an entire week of groceries and him with a bottle of Gatorade. I offered to let him go in front of me and he declined, saying that he wasn't in a rush. It was really like one of those scenes in a movie where the nice tough guy saves the girl from the jackass. You know, I bet like he's probably like, no, I don't want to go ahead because if I go ahead then, you know, I can't like not watch you leave, but like just make sure you get to your car okay and stuff. I don't know, you know. Even so, I was afraid Loudmouth McGee would be waiting outside, so I asked the cashier to call one of her coworkers to walk me to my car. Gentleman insisted that he would be happy to escort me to my car, and I accepted.
I know where this is going. I know. I just know where it's going.
You might be thinking what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking. I haven't read ahead of the story. I'm just thinking. This is my theory right now that what if they're working together?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Loudmouth McGee and Gentleman. He tells off Loudmouth McGee. Loudmouth McGee go gets the car ready because he's like, yeah, now he's in place. Go gets the car ready. And then when the gentleman sees the lady walk out the store, he's like, okay, Loudmouth McGee, she's out the store. I'm following her right now. And then he's like, yep, I'm ready right here as we plan with the car. And then takes her, like, you know, pushes her into the car or something and then drives off. Like, well, here we go. Gentleman insisted that he would be happy to escort me to my car, and I accepted. But as I stood there watching the cashier ring my items, I was overcome by this sick feeling that I was going to vomit everywhere. I decided it was just my nerves, as I have issues with anxiety, and this reaction is pretty normal. It typically passes within a few minutes once I mentally talk myself down, but for fear of further embarrassment, this time in form of projectile vomiting in the middle of the grocery store, I hurriedly paid and took a seat on a bench close by. I told the gentleman never mind and that I was a little freaked out, so I was going to call my husband to come pick me up instead. We'd get the car later. I didn't care. I just wanted to make it home in one piece. He told me to have a nice day and walked out the door. Hand to God, as soon as he walked out of the building, I felt normal again. So still blaming my anxiety, I felt sort of silly, but I'd already called my husband, so I stood up and pushed my car over to the window to watch for my ride, just in time to see a junky white SUV drive by with, freaking wait for it, gentleman in the passenger seat and loudmouth McGee in the driver's seat. I was about to poop my pants. Like, she just literally felt sick all of a sudden. He's like, you want me to walk you out? And she felt sick. And she's like going to take a breather on the bench and was like, I'm just gonna call my husband. And then as soon as he leaves, she feels all okay. Like, if that's
and
not...
And then she sees that. That's confirmation.
If that's not like something from above being like, girl, you need to stay here. You need to sit down and stay here.
Okay, so here's the next nail all done. We're just going to cure this first layer. All right, next I'm going to put this glitter polygel over this. Just a thin layer.
It's kind of like a trick too. Like, remember how it was like she offered him to go in front of her in line because she had a whole cart of groceries and he just had a Gatorade. And he was like, no, it's okay. And we were like, what if he's just trying to be a gentleman and see she makes it okay to her car?
No.
He was making sure she would make it okay to his car.
Now I'm going to give this pinky nail a final layer of clear because as you can see, the nail is as thin as paper. So let's give it some structure with this clear.
This next story is titled School Lockdown. A few years ago when I was in 5th grade, my school has a lockdown. For reference, I went to a religious school, so there was a church on the other side of the parking lot that we went to do church activities in. There was a gym with 2 locker rooms to dress out in, and also the art and music rooms were connected to it. Both of these rooms had doors that led into the parking lot. It was about the end of 6th period, so you can imagine most of us were pretty checked out, seeing as it was Friday and we were ready to go home. I was in the music room, which was being used for French that hour. We were sitting, working independently, when our announcements came over the intercom. Jude, you have a phone call in the office? Most of us stood up at this point. We had a drill the week prior and knew this was code for a lockdown. However, we knew it was not a drill because any kind of drill was always in the morning. This was around 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon. My teachers at the time, Madam Dawson, made up name by the way, was confused. We don't have anyone named Jude. What does that mean? I can only assume that she had been absent the day of the drill, as she is usually very attentive. After we had informed her that it was lockdown, she ushered all of us against the wall and out of sight of the window and turned off the lights. I remembered some of us asking questions, like whether it was a drill or the real deal. She told us that there was no drill scheduled and was trying to contact the office to find out what's going on. We sat there for over an hour. Some people were crying, some people had just spaced out at that point. My friend and I had been trying to keep each other calm by making faces and quietly joking around with each other. Looking back on it, we really should not have been talking at all. I remember worrying about my older brother who was in the same school but not in the same building. Funny how you hate your siblings until a situation like this comes, and you regret all of the mean comments you've said. There was a group of people holding hands and trying to whisper comforting words to each other, myself included. At one point, I vividly remember hearing a helicopter go by. That's not me trying to make it more dramatic. This actually happened and everyone in the school heard it. After at least sitting here for an hour, Madam Dawson turns the light back on and sends us to our next period and tells us everything's fine. We were released into the gym, as were the people who had been in PE and art. Everyone was hugging each other and crying out of relief. We went to 7th period all dazed and in state of shock. We asked our science teacher what had happened, but she would not tell us anything. Finally, it was time to go home. The bus ride was usually loud and chaotic, but this time it was eerily silent and calm. Once we got home, my mom told us that a bank had been robbed very close to my school and police had been chasing the guy. As it turns out, he had actually been caught and taken in custody in our church parking lot, about 100 feet from the room I was in. He was heading towards the school. That is some scary stuff. Someone in the comments said, this has nothing to do with stalkers, but it was a good read.
All right, here's the pinky nail. We're going to cure that. Okay, onto the thumbnail. We're going to do the same thing that we did on the ring finger. It's going to be on the thumbnail. So we're just going to get into that. Bits, while Sister Spice gets into the next story.
It's titled The Man in the Black Car. My roommate and I used to live in Virginia, about 20 minutes from her mom's apartment, and we used to dog sit for her all the time. One night after we dropped the dogs off, we stopped at the Wells Fargo near our apartment so my roommate could deposit the money her mom had given her for watching the dog. It was probably around 11 at night as we were about to pull into our complex. She said, "That car is following us." I asked which car she meant, and she said to look behind us. Sure enough, there was a black car following us down the road. She turned her turn signal, and so did the black car. I asked her how long he'd been there, and she said he's been following us since we left her mom's house. Not only was I freaked out, but I was thoroughly mad. I yelled at her and demanded to know why she didn't say something sooner. I was literally about to say that. I'm like, girl, you noticed since you're... Like, I can
Maybe
get it.
she wasn't sure.
Still, if I'm not sure, I should literally just say it anyway. I'm like, is this car following us? Like, you ask. You don't state it. You ask, you know? And then you'd be like, let's do a test. Turn this way. And if they turn, then and if they turn 3 times, they're following you. Because especially
if you go in a circle.
Yeah, especially if you turn left each of those times, because that's one big U-turn.
Yep.
Then yeah, they're following you. Because who's doing the exact same U-turn as you? And she said she didn't want to scare me. I asked her if he followed us through Wells Fargo, and she said he did. He pulled up behind us while she deposited the money at the ATM and pulled through after us without depositing anything or stopping.
Girl.
Okay, I've noticed you've been following me since my mom's house, and you just pulled through the ATM bank without doing anything with the ATM bank? Like, do you even bank here? Are you banking with us or not? After calling her an idiot for not telling me until we were home, I told her to turn right after the gate at our complex instead of left because our apartment was one of the first ones at the end. It was bad enough that he knew what complex we were in. He didn't need to see which apartment we were in. She turned right and I told her to floor it. We drove through the complex as fast as we could and lost him near the back of the complex. We parked across the street from our apartment, turned off the car, and crouched down low to see if he was driving by again. We didn't see him, but we also didn't feel safe. We ran inside as quickly as we could to grab some blankets and pillows, the can of pepper spray we had, and grabbed my knife. We got back into the car and I called my ex-boyfriend in a panic, asking him what else we could do. My roommate said she'd drive us to the movie theater she worked at because it wouldn't close for a few hours and there would still be people in the parking lot. My ex kept asking me questions about the car that I couldn't answer. Do you know the brand of the car? Is it a Toyota, a Ford, a Chevy? And she's like, I don't know. It just had a gold circle on it. I don't know. Imagine that. Like, you gotta know what kind of car it is.
Why wouldn't you look?
Exactly.
The first instinct is to be like, okay, what kind of car is it?
And you have, exactly, what kind of car is it? What color is it? And can you guess what car is it by the headlights of it? You know, like, obviously you see the headlights, you're like, that kind of looks like a police headlight. My ex kept asking me questions about the car that I couldn't answer, so I gave my roommate the phone. She described the car to the best of her abilities, then stopped mid-sentence when we got onto the highway. He was following us again.
He's back.
I would be shivering in my boots. I would be shivering.
And you went in your apartment.
They did go into their apartment to grab blankets.
Yeah.
And
why would you do
snacks.
that? Just
Girl.
why would you do that?
Girl, if the movie theater's open, Walmart has to be still
Yeah.
open. You better buy those $5 blankets. They're good blankets. $5 blankets and some snacks. Boom.
What?
And then if he follows you in the store, now that's when you can get a coworker to be like, do you have security or something? Because this man is following me. He's been following me, like, driving around, and now he's following me in the store. Like, this just ain't right. He was following us again. This is giving me chills. He was following us again. My ex asked if she was certain it was the same car, and she said it had to be. She never saw the license plate, but she recognized the body and the headlights and the shape of the man who was driving it. It was a Phineas-shaped head.
Ferb-shaped nose.
Ferb-shaped headlights. She gave me back the phone and called her manager at work to tell him we're going to be coming by and what was going on. She managed to get a few cars ahead of the black car and got to the parking lot. She parked in the back before anyone else pulled in, but we didn't see the black car. One of her coworkers came outside and parked next to us to wait while my roommate called the cops. My ex promised we'd be okay and that he would have been there if he could, and that if anything else happened to call him so he could talk to the sergeant about leaving for the weekend to check on us. He's in the army and was on a base a few hours away from us. The police said that since we didn't have the plate number that there was nothing we could do, but when we told them where we lived, they said they were going to be a few officers there on patrol that night anyways. Since we couldn't tell whether or not he'd followed us into the parking lot, they told us to just go home. We ended up sleeping in the car in a Walmart parking lot and didn't come home until the next night. We never saw that black car again. One of the comments in the Reddit thread said, "Very creepy. The only thing I can say is if it were me, I would have driven to a police station rather than to my place of employment. I wouldn't want the stalker to know anything else about me. Best of luck." Like, now they know where you live, your car, your mom's house.
The apartment.
Yeah, you went to a specific apartment. Your mom's house,
the bank.
Your apartment. They know which bank you go to. They know what car you drive. They know where you work. That is literally everything that you do in your daily life. They know everything that you do.
Why would you do that?
And to end our Reddit story saga of this nail vid, I have to end it on a 2-sentence horror story. Getting ready for bed, I made sure the front door was locked for the night. "Too late," said the voice behind me.
This is a new angle. Okay, so here's how the nails are looking so far. Very pretty. I'm just going to wipe them off with some isopropyl alcohol just to get this sticky layer off of the nail. Now we're going to get reshaping these nails. I have my Makartt dust collector and a hand file, and now we're just going to get reshaping. Okay, once the nails are all shaped up, and the next step is to wipe down these nails from all this dust. Okay, so we're gonna start off on this nail. We're doing croc print, so I'm gonna need this blooming gel. And I'm gonna take my dotting tool and I'm just gonna dot in the gel polish into this blooming gel. Okay, so the croc print was kind of a challenge, so we're just gonna move on to the next nail. And for the French tip, I'm gonna be doing gems along the smile line. I don't know why I did it in that pattern. I'm not leaving it like that. I'm gonna add my rhinestone gel just kind of on the smile line and then just blending it up into the rest of the nail, but you don't need to cover the whole nail. Now I have some of these red gems and I'm just gonna put them along the smile line. right, look at this cute little pom-poms we got. This is like a magnetic pom-pom. So I'm just gonna adhere this to the nail. I'm just gonna get some rhinestone gel. And I'm gonna put some of this, like a really good amount, because we need to stick in this magnetic piece. Ooh, that's just so fugly. Yeah, go ahead and cure that. Now I'm gonna go back in with some more top coat just to make sure that this thing is really encapsulated and that it won't pop off. Okay, so we're gonna wait to put the pom-pom on until the end for the final reveal. Next, we're just gonna finish off this nail set with some top coat. Alright, so we're still not going to add on the pom-pom yet. I want you guys to be in suspense. We're going to add some cuticle oil to the nails. Okay, now we're going to add on the pom-pom. Are you ready for this? I don't think I'm ready for this. First of all, look how cute this little pom-pom thing is. It has these little pearl things. The set is now complete. And here how the nails turned out. Let me know what you guys think of this nail set. All right, Sister Spice, what do you think of these nails?
I'm in love with these nails. These are great Valentine's Day nails, and I love the little pom-pom.
I've never used pom-poms before, so this is new and this is cute. Like, look at how cute. It just adds like a little nice touch to the set.
I get to be the first pom-pom girl.
Yeah, she's the first ever person here to have a pom-pom on the nails. If you see me using pom-poms more often in my next videos, can you blame me? Look how cute. Let me take you on a nail tour. So the first nail, we have this beautiful sparkly red. It kind of looks pink now because of the glitter, but red Frenchie with some glitters and hearts and gem outline. Then we got the pom-pom nail. Ooh, bald. It's like I snatched its wig. You just easily clip it back on, but it's the same like red glittery nail. Then we got the nude glitter with the croc print, and then the pinky nail with the collage of hearts, and again that glitter. And then the thumb also has the glitter croc print. And those are the nails. These are so cute. It's like the pom-pom is like, girls, I'm the main attraction.
I know, that's
it's like
right.
Covering up the rest of the nails. Here are some close-up shots. Ooh, pom-pom is the whole thing. Wow, look at that glitter shift. But that is pretty much it for this nail set. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!